You step into the dust-choked ruins of Babylon, where the Euphrates whispers secrets long buried beneath temple stones. What if the cradle of civilization hid desires so dark they twisted ecstasy into torment? Imagine priestesses bound in sacred rites, bodies offered to strangers in shadowed shrines, while kings enacted unions with gods that blurred flesh and fury. But dare you uncover the rituals of castration and incestuous myths that shook the heavens, practices so horrific they echo through eternity's veil? Lean closer, for the sands part to reveal Mesopotamia's most forbidden flames. You tread softly through Babylon's labyrinthine temple, where the air grows thick with myrrh and secrets, the Euphrates' distant hum a faint pulse beneath your feet. Flickering oil lamps cast jagged shadows on clay walls, their glow catching the eyes of priestesses draped in crimson, their faces veiled not by cloth but by the weight of divine decree. These women, chosen vessels of Inanna, goddess of love and war, offer their bodies to strangers, pilgrims, merchants, wanderers whose hands tremble as they cross the sacred threshold. Each act, they're told, ensures fertility, prosperity, a cosmos held in balance. But you sense a darker truth, coiled beneath the ritual's sheen. The priestess's eyes, half hidden in the haze, flicker with something unspoken, resignation perhaps, or defiance, stifled by the temple's stone embrace. Incense curls upward, a serpent of smoke, as murmurs rise like specters from the gathered crowd, their whispers blending with the clink of offerings dropped into bronze bowls. Was this worship, a sacred bridge to the divine, or exploitation dressed in piety's robes? Historical tablets speak of these rites as ancient custom, yet cuneiform scratches hint at coercion, of women bound by divine law to serve, their autonomy swallowed by Inanna's insatiable hunger. You pause at a carved relief, its figures locked in eternal embrace, their stone faces betraying neither joy nor pain. The goddess's wrath feels close, a storm brewing in the silence. Her myths warning of cities crumbled for lesser slights. Did these women choose this path, or were they sacrifices to a deity who craved both love and blood? The air grows heavier, pressing against your chest, as a priestess lifts her gaze, her eyes locking with yours for a fleeting moment within them, a spark of something human, something that resists the divine script. The ritual's rhythm falters. A pilgrim hesitates, his hand hovering over a coin, as if sensing the cost beyond gold. You wonder, did Inanna demand these acts to bind humanity to her, or to test its breaking point? The temple's walls seem to lean inward, their shadows pooling like spilled ink, and you feel the weight of her gaze, not from above, but from within the stone itself. A sudden chant rises, sharp and discordant, cutting through the haze. Inanna's name, invoked with fervor, but beneath it lies a tremor of fear. What did the goddess demand when the lamps burned low and the pilgrims departed? The answer waits, veiled, in the next chamber of this ancient maze, where myths of divine desire unravel into something far more sinister. You stand on the banks of the ancient Tigris, where moonlight fractures on the water's surface, casting silver webs that mirror the tangled tales etched on crumbling clay. Time peels back, and you're drawn to creation's dawn, where Enki, the cunning god of wisdom and mischief, weaves a story so profane it hums in the reeds. Tablets whisper of his seduction of Ninhursag's daughter, their union birthing rivers and life itself, yet the act drips with divine deceit, a primal sin cloaked in cosmic necessity. The air grows still, heavy with the scent of damp earth and betrayal, as you imagine Enki's sly smile under starlight, his hands tracing forbidden paths. Were these myths mere stories, or did they grant mortals permission to mirror such taboos? Historical accounts note priests invoking these tales to sanctify royal lineages. Yet speculative shadows linger. Did Sumerians see divine incest as a blueprint for power, or a warning of chaos? The river laps at your feet, its rhythm echoing the slow pulse of a world born from such unions, each wave a question. What boundaries did these gods cross that mortals dared not? Poetic visions unfold, Enki's whispers blending with the night's breath. His daughter's gaze torn between duty and dread. The tablets, cracked and fading, hold no answers, only paradoxes. Creation through violation, order through sin. You feel the weight of ancient eyes, gods watching from the stars, their desires shaping clay into flesh. A sudden gust carries a faint chant, priests' voices long dead, reciting Enki's deeds to justify mortal mirrors, kings, wedding sisters, bloodlines knotted to mimic divine will. But what cost did these stories bear? The narrative weaves speculative threads. Perhaps these myths sowed seeds of societal decay, excusing acts that frayed humanity's moral thread. The suspense builds, riverbank shadows lengthening like fingers reaching for truth, as you ponder how such tales cast long shadows over Mesopotamian courts. A tablet's fragment gleams in the moonlight, its cuneiform jagged as a wound, hinting at consequences, floods, famines, God's wrath for those who followed too closely. The revelation bursts forth. These myths didn't just narrate, they shaped a civilization's heart, embedding desire and dread into its laws and altars. You step back, the ground soft beneath you, as if the earth itself recoils from the truth. The stars above seem to shift, aligning into patterns that promise darker secrets yet to unfold, pulling you toward the next chamber of this mythic labyrinth, where blood and devotion stain the stones. You stand before a blood-streaked altar, its cold stone gleaming under the moon's unblinking gaze. High atop a ziggurat, where the night hums with ancient sorrow. The gala priests, spectral figures, draped in tattered linens, sway in a trance, their voices weaving laments that pierce the silence like daggers. For Ishtar, goddess of fierce desire, they offer their flesh, castrating themselves in rituals that blur devotion and despair, their blood pooling in crimson rivulets that seep into the cracks of sacred stone. You smell iron and dust, the air thick with the weight of their sacrifice, each wail a thread tying mortal to divine. Were they holy or haunted? These men who surrendered their manhood to appease a goddess whose love burned like a pyre? Historical tablets describe the gala as Ishtar's chosen, their songs soothing her tempestuous heart, yet whispers in cuneiform hint at a darker truth. Their mutilation was both gift and chain, binding them to her eternal whims. You imagine their trembling hands, the glint of obsidian blades, the crowd's hushed awe as crimson stained the altar's edge. The scene shifts, shadows coiling like serpents, as myths murmur of undead fates, gala souls cursed to wander, their cries echoing in omens of plague or ruin. Did their sacrifice sate Ishtar, or did it awaken forces that stirred beneath the earth? The ziggurat steps seem to pulse, each one a heartbeat of a civilization teetering on devotion's edge. You feel her presence, Ishtar's gaze like a flame licking the night, her favor as fickle as the stars above. The priest's laments grow faint, swallowed by a sudden silence, heavy with questions. Was this act a bridge to divinity, or a descent into despair? Speculative threads weave through the stillness. Perhaps the gala's pain fueled Ishtar's power, their loss, a currency for cosmic balance. The altar's stains seem to writhe, as if alive, whispering of rituals that demanded more than blood. You step closer, the stone cold beneath your feet, and sense the paradox. Sacrifice as both salvation and curse. Foreshadowing creeps in an omen carved on a tablet, speaks of restless spirits haunting the night, their fates tied to Ishtar's caprice. The rhythmic pacing slows, the air growing heavier, as if the ziggurat itself holds its breath. Did their blood appease her, or did it summon something darker, something that lingers still? The answer lies beyond the altar, in the next shadowed chamber of this ancient tapestry, where omens of unnatural unions cast their own chilling spell. You kneel before a crumbling archive, where clay tablets lie scattered like bones under a starless Mesopotamian sky, their cuneiform scars whispering secrets no mortal should know. A conspiratorial murmur pulls you closer, the air sharp with dust and dread, as you trace omens etched by trembling scribes, unions between man and beast, forbidden acts that foretold divine wrath or cosmic favor. The tablets speak of goats and lions, their coupling heralding floods or victories. But were these mere warnings or veiled confessions of practices too vile to name? You imagine the scribes' quivering hands, their reed styluses carving truths under flickering torchlight, each stroke a gamble against divine retribution. Historical accounts confirm these omens guided kings, their reigns swayed by cryptic signs of unnatural bonds, yet speculative shadows creep in. Did some cross that forbidden line, driven by desperation or devotion? The night presses close, heavy with the scent of ancient papyrus and fear, as you envision palace halls where advisors whispered of bulls mating with men to avert disaster. What madness drove such beliefs? The tablets offer no clarity, only paradoxes. Acts reviled yet revered, condemned yet consulted. Sensory details envelop you, wind howling like a beast, shadows shifting as if alive, while rhetorical questions claw at your mind. Did these omens reflect divine will or human perversion? The slow burn pacing builds, each tablet a stepping stone into a darker abyss, until a sudden revelation strikes. These omens weren't mere predictions, they haunted kings, shaping decrees that bound entire cities to their cryptic dread. You see, Ashurbanipal, his crown heavy with fear, consulting priests as omens of unnatural unions foretold his empire's fall. The tablet's words twist like vines, hinting at rituals hidden in temple cellars, where boundaries between human and animal blurred under divine gaze. Were these acts performed to appease gods or to defy them? The archive's silence is deafening, broken only by the imagined bleat of a sacrificial beast, its cry echoing across centuries. Speculative whispers weave through the narrative. Perhaps these omens mask truths too horrific for daylight, practices that stained the soul of Mesopotamia. The pacing crescendos, your heart matching the rhythm of a distant drum as you question the line between prophecy and perversion. A final tablet gleams, its text incomplete, leaving an open loop. Did these omens save or doom those who heeded them? The answer lies ahead, in a chamber where kings and goddesses entwine, their unions no less fraught with cosmic peril. You cross the threshold of a king's chamber in ancient Ur, where torchlight dances on basalt walls, casting shadows that writhe like living myths, and a statue of Inanna looms, her stone eyes gleaming with an unearthly fire. Here, rulers performed ritual marriages, their mortal flesh pressed against divine effigies in ceremonies that wove ecstasy with terror, binding man to goddess in a pact as fragile as the flickering flames. Poetic metaphors envelop you, hearts pounding under a cosmic gaze, flesh yearning to merge with eternity as you envision a king, robed in gold, trembling before Inanna's unyielding form, his breath mingling with incense that chokes the air. Historical accounts carved on temple friezes describe these unions as sacred duties, ensuring harvests and victories. Yet failure invited curses, cities razed, skies darkened by divine scorn. You feel the weight of those stone eyes, their silent judgment heavier than the crown itself, as the king whispers vows to a goddess who demands both devotion and dread. Were these rites a bridge to power or a chain to oblivion? Speculative whispers weave through the scene. Perhaps the king's touch on cold stone was less symbolic than desperate, a plea to sate Inanna's hunger for control. The chamber's air grows dense, the scent of myrrh and fear clinging to your skin, as you imagine the ruler's heart racing, his hands tracing the statue's curves, seeking favor in a dance of mortal and divine. Tablets hint at consequences, droughts, plagues, or spectral hounds unleashed when rituals faltered. Yet the myths blur truth with terror, leaving you to question the cost of such power. Did these kings feel godlike or forsaken under Inanna's gaze? The suspense builds, the chamber's shadows lengthening like claws, as a sudden drumbeat echoes, mimicking the pulse of a civilization teetering on divine whim. Poetic narration paints the scene, starlight seeping through cracks, illuminating a king poised between ecstasy and ruin. A cliffhanger looms as the statue seems to stir, its stone lips parting as if to speak, while omens whisper of celestial wrath awaiting failure. You stand frozen, the air thick with unspoken vows, wondering if the goddess accepted or spurned her mortal suitor. The narrative pauses, the king's trembling hand hovering over sacred oil, his fate and his cities hanging in the balance. What wrath would fall if the divine bride turned away? The answer lies beyond the chamber, in a world where mortal desires faced brutal judgment, pulling you deeper into Mesopotamia's shadowed heart. If these shadows of ancient desire have gripped your soul, don't wander alone in the dark. Subscribe now for more veiled truths from history's hidden vaults, where each video peels back another layer of the forbidden. Hit that bell to never miss a revelation, like this dive into Mesopotamia's twisted rites. Share your thoughts below. What ancient secret calls to you next? Join the conspiracy of the curious. Your journey into the unknown awaits. You wander through the bustling markets of Babylon, where the clamor of merchants and clinking coins fades beneath the whispers of forbidden love, their secrets carried on the wind like ash from a dying fire. Hammurabi's code, carved in unyielding stone, looms over the crowd, decreeing death for adultery, drowning in the Euphrates' churning depths, or impalement under the sun's pitiless glare. You see a woman, her face tear-streaked, bound in coarse ropes, her lover's name a forbidden hymn on her lips as guards drag her to the riverbank. The crowd parts, their eyes averted. Yet you hear their murmurs, tales of betrayed lovers whose ghosts haunt the reeds, their cries mingling with the water's roar. Historical tablets confirm these brutal penalties, each law a thread in the tapestry of a society obsessed with control. Yet speculative whispers weave a darker tale. Did these punishments quell desire or birth restless spirits? The air grows heavy with the scent of mud and fear as you imagine her final breath, swallowed by the current, her defiance etched in the ripples. Short, punchy revelations strike adulterers impaled at dawn, their screams silencing the market. Lovers exiled to deserts, their bones bleaching under vengeful stars. Were these laws justice or tyranny cloaked in divine will? The narrative immerses you in sensory details, the rough hemp biting her wrists, the crowd's hushed dread, the river's cold embrace. You feel the weight of Hammurabi's gaze, his code a blade severing passion from flesh, yet you wonder if love could survive such cruelty. Speculative threads suggest ghostly apparitions, lovers reunited in death, their whispers cursing the laws that bound them. The pacing shifts, slow immersion giving way to sharp truths. One tablet recounts a woman drowned for a stolen glance, her name erased from history. The market's din fades, replaced by an eerie silence, as if the city itself mourns its lost hearts. Rhetorical questions pierce the quiet. Did these punishments preserve order or fracture the soul of Mesopotamia? An open loop lingers. Some tales speak of lovers who defied the code, hiding in shadows, their fates unwritten. You see their silhouettes in the dusk, fleeting as moths, their love a rebellion against stone-carved fate. The riverbank stretches before you, its waters dark with secrets, each wave a testament to desire's cost. Could passion endure where death was its price? The answer lies ahead, in myths where divine seduction sparked cosmic revenge, drawing you deeper into the shadows of a civilization forged in blood and longing. If these shadows of ancient desire have gripped your soul, don't wander alone in the dark. Subscribe now for more veiled truths from history's hidden vaults, where each video peels back another layer of the forbidden. Hit that bell to never miss a revelation. Like this dive into Mesopotamia's twisted rites. Share your thoughts below. What ancient secret calls to you next? Join the conspiracy of the curious. Your journey into the unknown awaits. You tread the shattered streets of Uruk, where storm clouds boil and the wind howls like a beast unchained, carrying the scent of ozone and ancient wrath as Gilgamesh, the hero king, stands defiant before Ishtar's seductive gaze. Her voice, a silken blade, offers divine love, but he spurns her, his words sharp as obsidian, mocking her fickle heart. In retaliation, she unleashes monstrous bulls and undead hordes, their hoofbeats shaking the earth, their wails tearing the night. Myths etched on clay tablets weave this tale, blending historical kings with divine fury, while speculative whispers ask, did Gilgamesh's rejection spark chaos that reshaped Mesopotamia's soul? You see crumbling walls, their stones trembling under the bull's charge, as shadows twist into skeletal forms, clawing from graves to punish mortal pride. The air grows thick, heavy with dust and dread, as Ishtar's scorn paints the sky with lightning, each bolt a testament to her wounded desire. Rhetorical questions pierce the storm. What price did Gilgamesh pay for defying a goddess's lust? Historical accounts hint at real kings facing omens of ruin after slighting divine will. Yet the myth amplifies the stakes. Ishtar's vengeance births a cosmic rift, her rage a mirror for mortal fears. Sensory details envelop you. The ground quakes, the air screams with spectral voices, and the city's torches flicker as if pleading for mercy. The narrative's ominous tone deepens, symbolic imagery of raging storms and shadowed pursuits casting Gilgamesh as both hero and fool, his defiance a spark in a tinderbox of divine retribution. You wonder if his rejection was courage or hubris, each step through Uruk's ruins echoing with the weight of that choice. Speculative threads weave through the chaos. Perhaps Ishtar's wrath seeded cultural dread, a fear of divine desire that bound Mesopotamia's heart. The pacing builds, slow winds coiling into sudden gusts as a tablet fragment gleams, recounting bulls slain, but hordes still rising. Did Gilgamesh's stand strengthen or doom his people? The cliffhanger looms, a spectral hand breaches the earth, its fingers pointing toward the horizon where new horrors await. You feel the storm's pulse, its rhythm matching your own, as myths whisper of fears born from this defiance, fears that haunted priests and kings alike. The city's walls seemed to close in, their cracks whispering of a civilization trembling under divine caprice. What terrors did this rejection unleash beyond the battlefield? The answer lies ahead, in temple shadows, where virginity and sacrifice wove their own dark tapestry, pulling you deeper into Mesopotamia's haunted heart. You slip into the shadowed heart of a Sumerian temple, where candlelight flickers on alabaster walls, casting tremulous glows over priestesses kneeling in silent dread, their fates bound by rituals that demand purity or fertility at a harrowing cost. Here, temple hierarchies enforce virginity tests, intrusive, humiliating probes under the gaze of stern matrons, or fertility rites, where bodies are offered to ensure the land's abundance, yet violations spark brutal reprisals, scourging with reed whips, or sacrifice on bloodied altars. The air hums with myrrh and fear, each breath heavy with the scent of wax and desperation, as you imagine a young priestess, her eyes darting like trapped birds, her hands clutching a sacred amulet. Historical tablets detail these laws, etched by priests who saw divine order in control, but conspiratorial whispers weave tales of defiance. Women who hid lovers in cellars, their whispered vows a rebellion against stone-carved fate. Did any dare resist? Or were they all consumed by the temple's unyielding will? Long sentences paint the scene, candles dripping like tears, supplicants trembling as drums beat a rhythm of doom, their shadows merging with carvings of Inanna's wrath. Sharp questions cut through. Who among them defied the sacred chains? The narrative alternates awe and dread, the paradox of pleasure's perilous price unfolding in the flicker of a single flame, rituals meant to honor life, but steeped in suffering. You hear a faint sob, stifled, as a priestess fails her test, her fate sealed by a matron's nod toward the altar. Speculative threads suggest secret rebellions, whispered networks of women smuggling forbidden herbs to evade fertility's demand, their courage a spark in the temple's gloom. The pacing shifts, slow immersion in candlelit rites, giving way to bursts of revelation. One tablet hints at a priestess who fled, her name scratched out, her fate a mystery. Did she find freedom, or did the gods' wrath hunt her down? The temple walls seem to pulse, their carvings alive with eyes that judge, as you feel the weight of a civilization's obsession with control. Sensory details grip you. The sting of reeds on flesh, the chill of stone under bare feet, the silence broken by a scream. The open loop lingers tales of vanished rebels, their defiance haunting the temple's shadows, their fates unwritten in clay. Could such courage shift the divine order, or was it crushed beneath Inanna's heel? The answer waits, in a final unveiling, where Mesopotamia's horrors weave a tapestry of dread, pulling you toward the heart of a culture forged in sacrifice and desire. You stand amid the silent ruins of Babylon, where crumbling ziggurats cast jagged shadows across the sands, their stones whispering a worldview where flesh was a battleground for gods and men, each act of desire, a thread in a tapestry of dread. The horrific practices sacred prostitution, binding priestesses to Inanna's will, gala priests' castration for Ishtar's favor, kings' unions with stone goddesses, and omens of unnatural lust wove a civilization trembling under divine scrutiny, its heart pulsing with awe and fear. Historical tablets, cracked and faded, reveal a society obsessed with appeasing gods, their laws and myths entwining to sanctify suffering as devotion. You smell the dust of centuries, feel the weight of silent ruins, their echoes fading like a dying chant. Poetic narration unfurls. Priestesses' cries blend with scribes' omens, each ritual a knot in a web that held Mesopotamia captive. Speculative threads weave through. Did these acts strengthen the divine order, or sow seeds of its unraveling? The air grows still, heavy with the scent of ancient clay, as you envision a people haunted by their own desires, their altars stained with blood and longing. Rhetorical questions rise. Did these horrors forge empire, or fracture its soul? Sensory details grip you. The Euphrates murmur, a faint lament. The winds sigh through broken arches, the chill of stone underfoot, as if the earth mourns its burdens. Myths of Enki's incest, Gilgamesh's defiance, and lovers drowned for passion converge, showing a culture where ecstasy and terror were inseparable, each act a plea for divine mercy. The narrative synthesizes these threads, revealing how sacred prostitution ensured fertility yet chained women, how castration honored gods yet broke men, how divine unions promised power yet invited curses. Foreshadowing whispers of lingering influence, modern echoes in tales of forbidden love or ritual sacrifice, hints that Mesopotamia's dread still stirs beneath history's veil. You pause, the ruins silence a reverent hymn, as tablets speak of a world where gods watched every embrace, their judgments carved in flood and flame. The pacing slows, inviting reflection. What truths lie hidden in these shadows? The final revelation strikes Mesopotamia's horrors, shaped not just its time, but the contours of human fear. Desire a double-edged blade that cut through centuries. You feel the eternal veil, thin as mist, parting to reveal a civilization's soul, its desires both divine and damned. The open loop lingers. What other secrets sleep in these sands, waiting for your gaze? The answer fades, a whisper in the wind, urging you to carry this dread forward into the silence of history's uncharted depths. As the sands reclaim Babylon's echoes, you linger in the haze of these horrific rites, where flesh met fate in an eternal dance beneath the watchful stars. The Euphrates falls silent, its waters swallowing the cries of priestesses, priests, and kings, yet the questions persist, curling like smoke. What other horrors lie buried beneath these dunes, waiting for your gaze to unearth them? If this veil of history has parted, revealing Mesopotamia's dark heart, pause to reflect on the flames of desire, both divine and damned, that forged empires and left ruins in their wake. The air grows still, heavy with the dust of centuries, as you stand among crumbling ziggurats, their shadows stretching like fingers into the unknown. Until next time, wanderer, keep seeking the whispers of the past, for the stones still hum with secrets untold. Farewell from the ruins, where history's darkest pleasures forever smolder.